Hello everyone, it's Kirsten here. Today I wanted to give you a few tips about how to stay healthy as a dancer, especially during busy seasons, when you're performing, when you're auditioning, or just when you feel like everyone around you is getting sick or injured. This is just my guide to general health. This is going to regard physical as well as mental health, so let's get on with it. So the first tip I have for you is to help keep your body healthy and injury-free, and especially if you're already starting to feel pain or signs of injury, or you've been struggling with an injury for a while, really make sure to examine your warm-up routine and be very diligent about getting to class at least 30 minutes early and fully warming up before class. Like, maybe even make a goal of if you're not at least just feeling internally warm and loose, try to even break a sweat. And the way I like to do this is I will work my way up to that. Obviously, I don't expect to like start doing some cardio and then just bust out some ballet. That works for some people. I have some friends who like to go on the elliptical if there's a facility nearby, and then they'll start ballet class. But for me, what I like to do is I will start by rolling out my muscles on a foam roller or something like that, a tennis ball, you know, maybe even use my heating pad trick, which I talked about in a few other videos. That's been my obsession recently. And I will also then follow that up with some abdominal exercises. That just helps me to get warm in a way that is safe for the rest of my body. So try some planks, anything to kind of activate the lower abs, especially that'll help with your pelvic placement in class. You could also watch my video, I think it's called My Simple Ab Workout Routine, to get some ideas. So do that and then do some stretches, and then you'll be ready for ballet class. But this will really help to protect yourself from injury, and to also keep healing your injury if you already have one while you continue to dance, if that makes any sense. And to follow up with that, really make sure to stretch after class or rehearsals once your day is done. It's very important to finish out the day resetting your body, telling your muscles to relax again so that when you come in the next day, you're not a huge ball of tension that you're fighting against to do the work. So really make sure that you do some gentle stretches, stretch your quads, your hamstrings, your calves, you know, releasing your back as well is really important. You could do like the whole cat-cow exercise if you're familiar with that. That's really nice for mobilizing the spine. And just anything, anywhere you feel tightness, make sure to address that and just go with what feels good to your body and just treat your body at the end of the workday. As well as stretching, you should really be rolling out your muscles as well. I already talked about this, but in particular, make sure to target your calves with a small, like you could use a tennis ball, lacrosse ball. I like the Foot Rubs brand ball from, I get it from Discount Dance. Make sure to target your calf muscles, because I find that one of the most common injuries, especially in female dancers, has to do with the feet and ankles. So the thing that is usually in charge of causing those injuries is tightness in the calves. So really make sure to address that. Make sure that you are aware of any knots that are particularly bothering you, and be diligent about working those out. Now, you don't want to do it constantly, because when you are rolling out your muscles or even stretching, what you're doing is breaking up the muscle fibers a little bit. So if especially you're doing that in a hard way to really release some tension, that does call for recovery time. So if you are doing it to the point where you're giving yourself bruises, sometimes that's necessary, but don't be doing that every single day, because your muscles do need recovery time from that, as well as the strenuous exercise you're doing throughout the day. And as far as diet, this is a very important thing, or an important part of being healthy in general, with your body and with your mind and everything. It just transcends into all aspects of life, I believe. So make sure that you are eating your vegetables. Now, I'm not going to prescribe a particular diet to everybody or say you need to eat this, that, and the other, and that is the same for every human being. I don't really believe in one diet for every person. However, vegetables do not cause harm to anybody. I mean, obviously, unless you're allergic to a specific vegetable, in which case you know yourself. But really make sure you're eating your dark leafy greens, because magnesium is very important for muscle restoration and so many body functions. But really, any type of vegetables you could get your hands on, make sure you're putting as much veggie content in your diet as possible, and that will help also just by nature crowd out other foods you shouldn't be eating. And one thing I will caution you against consuming a lot of is refined sugars. Now, I'm not saying never indulge, that's not the point, because sometimes that's a part of a healthy lifestyle, you know, treating yourself on occasion and enjoying that. But if you're doing it a little bit too often, refined sugars can really take a toll on your health. And I especially notice, particularly when I was in college, I noticed a lot of my friends who were not eating as many vegetables and were kind of always having sugar in their diet all the time, even in ways they were not aware of, like crappy protein bars. Watch out for those. Make sure you're reading the ingredients on your food, because an alarming amount of food that you get from the grocery store in packages, so like pre-made items, contain refined sugars. So make a habit out of, when you go to the grocery store, reading the ingredient lists on the food or packaged items that you're consuming. Because that awareness is just a huge first step in kind of eliminating unnecessary sugars in your diet. So make sure that you are eating lots of vegetables and avoiding as many refined sugars as you can within reason. You know, don't be crazy about it, but that will really help you feel much better. I don't know if I finished my thought earlier, but my friends who were eating a lot of sugar in college, they would just get sick all the time, and they would just be like, I don't know why I'm getting sick. And I would bother them like, are you eating your vegetables? And they'd say no. So all the vitamins and minerals, all the nutrients you're getting from your vegetables and fruits as well are really going to help build up your immune system, and all the refined sugars you might be consuming really are counterproductive in that movement towards health. So just watch what you're eating, and also make sure to drink as much water as you can. I am horrible about this, but especially if you're starting to feel sick, or if you just feel like your muscles are always tight, drinking a lot of water is never a bad thing. Oftentimes I can tell when my body is dehydrated, not just by my thirst, but by the fact that I am tight, I'm not recovering very fast, I'm just kind of tired, you know. So you guys all know that. I don't have to over-explain the whole drinking water thing. It's important. Just drink as much as you can, and I will be right there with you in that struggle towards being hydrated. Another important thing is also pretty obvious. It's getting enough sleep. A lot of you know that at least getting 7 hours is really important. Now, some have the luxury of getting 8 hours of sleep. I know a lot of you out there are really busy, especially if you're a student or if you work a lot. It's not always a very accessible thing to get 8 hours of sleep. In fact, I think it's a privilege to most people. So just really make a priority out of getting at least 7 hours. I think that's crucial to really recovering, especially as a dancer, because you're not only exhausted from your day, but from all the physical activity you're doing, and your body really needs to recover, your mind needs to recover, and you just need to have that time of total relaxation and the ability to like really get into all your REM cycles and, you know, get a very solid night's sleep. And I think you could do that in 7 hours. That's what I feel like. If I get less than 7 hours, it's not really a good night's rest, but I can get by. 7 hours, 7.5 is like my sweet spot. But also make sure to not sleep too much. I know a lot of people who just really prioritize sleep, and they'll get like, some people get like 9 hours of sleep a night, and they come in the morning, they're like, I don't know why I'm still tired, I got 9 hours of sleep. Sometimes there is such a thing as sleeping too much, and your body kind of keeps itself in that lazy rest mode. So just kind of find your own balance, and in order to help you achieve a better night's sleep, if you're struggling with this personally, I really advise getting all of your technology away from you, at least if you're really having a hard time, an hour before bed. I find that now I can kind of just shut it off 30 minutes before bed and then I'm okay. But that will really help, especially if you are looking at your phone right before sleep. Think of it. You have that bright light shining right into your eyes. Even, well, okay, another tip is if you have to look at your phone right before you go to sleep, what I will do is I'll turn my brightness on my screen all the way down, and that really helps to not kind of keep me awake and stimulate me a little too much before I try to completely shut my mind and body down. So yes, but it is ideal to get all the technology away from you. Also because I've seen some research out there about the whole electromagnetic field thing, and how that can actually impact your health. So another tip I picked up recently in order to stay asleep and well rested throughout the night is to put your phone on airplane mode, for those of you who keep it close to you. Like for me, I use my phone as my alarm clock. So now what I'll do is I'll put my phone on airplane mode to reduce the EMFs that are coming out of my phone, because those occur whenever your phone is on wireless, or like there's the Wi-Fi signal, or you know, I'm not going to pretend I know a lot about technology, but essentially when your phone is on airplane mode, there are not a ton of signals going to and from the phone. This is in very basic terms, but I think you guys get the gist of what I'm talking about. Those can disrupt your rest and actually affect your health, surprisingly. So give that a try as well. And if you are really interested in getting some excellent sleep, I would highly recommend just dedicating like 10 minutes to writing in a journal before you go to sleep, or reading a book. Seriously, if I do that stuff, it just puts me right to sleep and I feel so incredible and I just get the best night's rest. It's amazing. So even if you feel like, oh, you're not one of those people who wants to journal, or you don't have time, if you just give it 10 minutes, really, I think if you prioritize, you can make 10 minutes in your schedule to do it. I used to think, oh, no way I would do that, I don't have time. But if you just think of it as something that's important to you, you can create 10 minutes out of your schedule, replacing something else with that activity, and it'll really pay off, I promise. It's so relaxing. I also found it personally fulfilling. So yeah, just give that a try. It really helps getting a better night's rest. So here are my last 2 points. The first is to really focus on having a positive mindset. This is really important just for general health, because the power of the mind is quite astonishing, and if your mind isn't in the right place, it's shocking how many areas of your life that can really take over. So make sure that you're surrounding yourself with positive people, and if you can't be around positive people, try and be that positive influence. Remember that you have an astonishing amount of choice in your life. A lot of things come down to choices, and people who I've noticed who often have an overwhelmingly negative outlook on life don't actually believe that they have a lot of choices in life. Like, so for me, what I do when I am the most positive in my mindset is I'm always reminding myself that it is my choice to be happy. It is my choice to be grateful. Now, obviously, troubles come along and that's fine, but you just take those in stride and realize that you have a choice in how you react to hardships, and choose to see the good in the situation. I'm going to choose to overcome that, rather than saying, oh my gosh, all this stuff is happening to me and I don't know why, and it's not fair, and I just can't get a grip, and it's not my fault. Take personal responsibility of your life, of your actions, of your choices, and then it's really crazy how much that mindset will change like everything about your life. And along the lines of gratitude, I think it's very, very, very important to realize that, yes, ballet is really hard. A lot of times it's not fair, and that's what leads to people having a negative mindset. But those are the ones who forget how lucky we are to still do what we say we love to do. It's a dream that we're still fortunate to chase, especially if you're older. Like, I'm 23, and I remember every day I try and remind myself that there are 8-year-olds out there that have already given up on their dreams. And oh my gosh, this like makes me emotional. So for me, like, no matter what happens to me, no matter how much my knee might hurt one day or someone might mistreat me, I remember that this is still a dream I'm so privileged to chase. I'm still privileged to do what I love every single day, even though it's hard. It's something I've chosen into, and also something that I'm extremely privileged to be able to do every single day. And just reminding myself that really dictates a lot of my behaviors and actions and the way that I respond to things that might lead other people towards unhappiness. It's just something I choose to deal with, and I'm like, well, at least I'm in this situation where I get to do this awesome thing, even though that is a negative side effect, if that makes sense. And I notice a lot of people have a lack of confidence, and that's their source of negativity. And still, again, with the whole choices thing, you can choose to look at the things you're not good at and get discouraged by that, or you could choose to see your progress. You could choose to see your potential, or your, if you don't even feel like you have talent or potential, find something. Realize that it's insane what you're already doing, even if you feel like it is not impressive, it's not technically great compared to someone else. Comparison is just the thief of happiness. I'm pretty sure that's a quote that's been said a million times. But if you're comparing yourself to someone else, that's just really going to destroy your joy. So make sure to be grateful for the progress you have made. Like, even if your point work sucks, the fact that you could stand on point is pretty freaking cool. So you could focus on that stuff, or you could focus on what you're not doing. And I noticed the dancers that focus on what they are doing well instead of dwelling on what they will never be good at are the ones who really excel. For me, I will never have flat turnout. I can have good turnout. It's never going to be perfect. So years ago, I decided to stop caring so much about that, because it used to just consume me. The fact that I would look over at someone else at a summer intensive and see their flat turnout, it would discourage me so much because I knew that I couldn't do that. Instead, now I'm at the place where I'm like, I have nice artistry and upper body. That's what people often compliment me on. So I focus on that. I'm proud of myself for that, and I keep growing in that area, so that makes me special, rather than trying to be the dancer with perfect turnout I'll never be. So this is already getting kind of long, but those are my tips towards building confidence if you don't have it, and generally having a positive mindset, because that really helps so much with general health. So back to a more boring note. The last point I have is to take care of yourself. If you are seeing the warning signs of an injury, do not ignore it. Or if you're feeling like you're getting sick and it's not just a normal cold, don't ignore it. Go seek medical help. Go see someone who knows what they're talking about. Ask around to see if there is a particular doctor you should go to, because some just honestly don't know how to deal with dancers. That's the reality. So try to get a referral if you can from another dancer who might have struggled with the same thing. And yeah, just don't ignore the warning signs that your body is giving you, because oftentimes I see dancers who wait until it is too late and then they're in a boot or something like that, and they have a much more serious injury on their hands than they would have if they just dealt with it sooner. So anyway, that is enough for me today. I hope that you guys enjoyed this and that you got some helpful tips out of it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!